Friend, who made me your judge? Those were the biting words of Jesus when somebody tried to draw him into a dispute over family inheritance in today's gospel. Now, obviously, the gospel today is focusing on greed. Jesus simply wants us to not fall for the trap of relying too heavily on church rules, because as we know from church history, the rules always lag behind a little bit in our understanding of human dignity. For example, this story of Richard Hunt, a 15th century man in Tudor England. And when his infant son Stephen passed away, the normal thing for the church to do was to request that he hand over that baptismal garment as a form of payment for holding the funeral. There was a tit for tat dispute, and Richard ended up in ecclesiastical jail in St. Paul's Cathedral in London. The rules were very clear, and quite frankly, for that time, that day and age, handing over the garment as payment for a funeral service was largely considered fair and an appropriate form of payment. The bottom line is, this story really didn't end up well for anyone. In today's gospel, when Jesus says, "Who made me your judge?" I don't think that he's discounting the authority of the church. I think he's trying to draw us into something much, much deeper. For most of us, the disputes that we have in our families and amongst friends, they're complicated. There's a little bit of tit for tat, just like the story of Richard Hunt. Jesus is trying to draw us deeper, much deeper into the interior spiritual life to understand the things that plague us, but also what are the things that are keeping us from recognizing the fullness of our own dignity as created by God. Probably the most fundamental underpinning of trying to become holy or working towards holiness is understanding that we have to become everything that God created us for. God is vastly creative, and so sometimes our rules, our understanding of human dignity, it lags behind. This is why your stories matter so much for the church. The things that are going on in your life that may make it seem like it's difficult to really feel a sense of belonging in the parish, that's a gift to the church. We have to go deep and try and understand, what is it that we were created for, and how do our gifts help make the church more holy? Those solutions, they're not always going to be found in the rules. In fact, life is very complicated. And so your presence, persisting, staying around, and challenging others in the pews to understand why it is that you matter, this is important for our own calling to holiness.